Dude, I'm like this. Like, I don't want to ruin it, but like, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna save it because we're gonna talk about this.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Midlife Muscle Podcast. My name is Joey Atlas, and today's great guest is Renee Komorowski.
You did great.
Did I get it?
You
I didn't
did
even
not
ask you,
butcher
right?
it.
And,
I usually get Komorowski. I'm like
Komorowski.
Komorowski.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, so if you're tuning in on audio, such as Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you're going to want to check us out on video. You're going to want to see all the video episodes because these great guests with me are worth looking at. All right, you get to see the hand gestures, the facial gestures, the body language, all the good stuff. So you're going to want to go to MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com if you're not already there. MIDLIFEMUSCLEPodcast.com is going to take you right to the YouTube page, which has all the video episodes. And of course, you can go find all the audio versions on Apple, Spotify, Google, and all the secondary players as well. So, Renee, thank you for making it today.
Of course.
I appreciate
Thank you for having me.
So we were just talking about, and I wanted to make sure we got this on the episode, like how God plays a part in like our path. Well, you're a believer, right?
Absolutely.
I know that. So we're having a conversation that some people might not be able to understand just yet, but a lot will, because I know I have a lot of believers tuning into this podcast. So when you posted, well, let's set the stage for people who are like, oh, who is she? Like, how'd she get on here, right? Do you remember exactly how we met? I kind of remember.
Absolutely. My first trainer, Patty Soud.
All right. So my spirit sister, my soul sibling, Patty, introduced us. I think we went
paddleboarding.
So like, was that a daytime paddleboard or an evening one?
It was a moonlight.
That was moonlight. So we went out when it was still light in
Yep.
St. Augustine. All right. And then it got dark. We had our lights on and all that. Right. So that's when we met. So that was like 8 or 9 years ago, maybe 10.
It was. I was new to fitness.
Right.
So
you
put
were
me
just
on a
getting going.
paddleboard. I'm like, oh gosh.
Right. So Renee you were training with Patty back then,
Patty,
right?
yes.
All right. So Renee was just getting into her fitness training journey, maybe 10 years ago-ish, with some of you who already know my spirit sister, my soul sibling. If you don't, you're going to have to go check her out at fitnessbypatty.com. Write this down, fitnessbypatty.com, especially if you're local in Jax and you're seeking somebody good to help you. Patty's the one you're gonna want to go see first. She usually has a waiting list, tight schedule. She's very good. She's in high demand, but you'll want to go check her out. We love you, Patty, because we know you're going to watch this episode.
Yes, you are.
Right?
You better.
Okay, so we meet back then.
Yes.
Haven't seen or spoken to you or even bumped into you around town since then. You posted a reply to somebody seeking a home rental in Atlantic Beach. I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's Renee. And I'm kind of looking for a next rental, as I told you. So like, hey, it's Joey, Patty's friend. Is this still available? And so we go meet to check out the home rental she has near Atlantic Beach or in Atlantic Beach. We have a quick chat. We get into some of the fitness talk. Tell me about your recent injury. And I'm like, hey, you want to come on to the Midlife Muscle Podcast?
Here I am.
Like, here she is. So that's how we got here. So we got a lot of good things to talk about, especially the injury and recovery. And now that you're getting back into training, a lot of people are going to want to hear about this because in midlife, we all got things we're dealing with. We all got aches, pains, old battle wounds from sports, odd accidents, things handed down from our parents. But it doesn't stop us. We find ways to keep going, and we're going to share that story in a little bit. So to get started, here's what I would like to do. Give us a brief self-intro, like a 3, 4, 6 sentence, age, mom status, career, like quick overview.
Okay.
Go.
Well, I'm 48. I work in corporate America. I have been in corporate America pretty much my whole career. I am a single mom. My kids are 26 and 25. I raised them by myself.
God bless.
Yes. It took God.
I get it.
So that's kind of my story.
Okay.
That's who I am.
So that's perfect. Thank you, by the way. All right. So let's So you're here in Jacksonville. Let's go back to your childhood. Where were you born?
I was born in I was born in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So it's a suburb. Latrobe. Yeah, it's right outside of Pittsburgh. It's a suburb of Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I grew up country girl.
Okay.
So far out in the country, we couldn't get cable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then where did your life path take you from PA?
From PA. So I think I was 14 or 15, and my parents divorced at 5, and we moved in with my grandparents in a 2-bedroom house in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived in the basement with my mother, no heat or air. And at 14, 15, she got a job here in Florida. So
here in Jax?
No, Central Florida, Lake Helen, again.
Okay.
Small country girl to a small town in Florida. So it's between Daytona and Orlando. So I lived there until 99, had both my children there, and then I moved to Jacksonville in 99.
All right. What brought you to Jax?
Well, I'm going to be transparent because that's just how I moved.
Yeah.
But I was in a domestic battery situation with my kid's father.
Okay.
And needed to leave for safety reasons. So the kids and I got in the car, left everything, and came up and stayed with my aunt until I could get on my feet again by myself with the kids. So.
Okay. So you had an aunt here already.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that was the next logical step.
Absolutely.
All factors considered.
God bless them for taking us in.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to Jax. What was your age when you got here to Jax?
Oof. You're going to make me do math, Joey.
Yeah, a little bit.
Prepared to do
Come
math.
on now.
On 99, I was still young because my son was, I think, 9 months old. So I was probably 23, 24.
Okay.
I was young. I was a baby.
Right.
With babies.
Right. Were you in corporate America then?
I was. I worked at Time Warner Cable, but I obviously left a job. Safety was priority.
Right.
And then when I got here, I did a couple temp jobs, and I landed in a software company where I was doing travel coordination for like the CEO of the company. Right. And I went to leave to go to another job, and he's like, absolutely not. Like, we got stuff here for you. So I stayed there for numerous years, became an account manager there of the payroll software that we do. And then I left there and I went to Washington Mutual, now Chase. So
you're still with Chase now?
Yeah, 18 years. Okay. So long, I don't remember how many
Very
years.
cool.
So I think it's been about 18.
I like Chase.
Yes, it's a great organization.
Yes, it is. Good stuff. Okay. So what led you into your fitness journey about 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's actually, I did the math today because I couldn't remember how many years it's been, but I was 39. I remember this distinctly. My kids were 17 and 18. So at that age, obviously it allowed me a lot more time. Right. They were older.
They get somewhat self-sufficient.
Yes, right. I definitely raised them that way. They complained about it all throughout, but now they're thanking me. So nice. I had a lot more financial freedom because I was done paying I sent them to private school. I was done paying for private school. And so I had a lot more financial freedom and time. Right. And I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? And, I was athletic as a kid. I, played different sports, and I was 39. I was about to turn 40. Right. And I'm like, oof, 40. Like, I wanted to roll into 40. Yeah. Fit. Right. Healthy. Right. More so healthy than fit.
Yeah, understood.
The fitness came like later for me when you start to see the results.
Right. You see your body starting to change. You feel it.
Yep. Okay. So I got on Google, started looking for a trainer. I did not want to go to a gym. Right. I had an experience with gyms, and I don't like didn't appreciate the experience. Understood. So, and I wanted somebody that could really teach me. Yeah. I want to do it right. I want to take care of my body. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I really wanted somebody to guide me through that process. Found Patty. Reached out to Patty. She responded right away. And if you don't know Patty, those who do, high energy. Yeah. The desire to help. Oh yeah. She's just a natural born giver. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a better word. So I started with Patty, individual sessions. I had no interest in being around other people.
Understood.
Just because I wanted to focus on what am I doing. Right. Patty, very convincing lady, soon had me in group workouts. She has pushed me outside of all of my comfort zones, and I appreciate it very much. But that's how I got started. Right. And that first day I was like, oh man, what have I done? But now I'm like, thank God I did this. So that's how I got started.
So I'm not surprised you connected with her. That's another God
absolutely.
conversation to have. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So that was about 10 years ago-ish. And what do you, like, since then, how would you describe how far you've come in that time? Like, what things have improved, have changed?
My
mentally,
attitude.
Physically, everything. Yeah, that's
my
big.
Attitude.
That's huge.
Like, I did not enjoy working out. Patty will tell you this. I hated it. But I showed up every time. Every time I showed up. That's another thing about me, the desire to hire a trainer and not go to a gym, like a traditional gym, because I need accountability.
Right.
I working all day. I'm not morning people, so you'll never catch me working out in the morning. But I wanted to just go and have somebody tell me what to do and do it. I'm used to really dictating a lot, and I didn't want to dictate.
Understood.
Tell me what to do, and let me do it, and show me the right way to do it. So attitude was the first thing. I hated it, and now I've developed an incredible passion for it. I look forward to it. People at work know, it's 3:30. Renee's out. She's going to work out.
Right. Right.
They know. It has become part of my routine. And I think the biggest shift for me was like seeing the results. That's what really it's what kept me going.
Right.
So mentally, like with injury, which I know we'll get into, like I really started, and I don't want to use the word depression because I was not depressed, but mentally, like when you work out, that hit in your brain, happy heart, like the happy hit, I call it.
Totally.
When I had to rest, which I don't do well, it really took a toll on me mentally.
Right.
So for me, it's a release at the end of my workday. I go leave all my stuff.
Right. You go into a different zone.
Absolutely. I just leave it at the gym.
Yeah.
Right. So when I have a bad day, I look forward to it even more.
Right. Right. Agreed.
Right. So, my diet has changed. Clean eating.
Yeah, we're going to get into that too.
Yes.
So you made the nutritional shift as well,
absolutely.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So after Patty, did you go off on your own for a bit?
Well, she really, again, pushed me.
Right.
Right. Like that's the beautiful thing about Patty.
Yeah.
As a business person, you want to retain your clients, but Patty was a great starting point for me.
Yeah, she wants to teach you and have you go.
She did. She created a foundation. She taught me so many things. Care for your body, because that's a big component of it.
Sure.
It's not just the working out. But she pushed me on to my next fitness center, which I'm now at Level Up Fitness.
Okay.
And they're athletes.
Right.
Trainers.
Right.
And they train you as such.
Right.
But it's really custom to the person. So they're not like training everybody the same.
It's not
an individual
type thing.
No.
Right.
No, everybody is getting a different workout that's in there, and it's personalized to what your abilities are and what your goals are.
Right.
So that's where I am right now.
Okay. So
I've been there about 3 years.
3 years. So would you say you've seen a lot of positive body composition changes in the last 10 years?
Oh, for sure. I'm like,
all right.
I was like, why didn't somebody tell me I had saddlebags? Where are my friends?
And that they could be fixed.
I know. It's definitely, like, just for me, it's not about how I look. It's more so about
that's a side effect benefit.
Oh,
like
it is.
You're intelligent enough to know you're really after the big internal health benefits,
Right.
longevity, wellness, disease prevention, etc.
Yeah.
The outside package improving is like this
It's the
big
perk.
side effect
It's
benefit
the
that
perk.
you get.
And it's like motivation.
Yeah.
For me, aside from the health.
Understood.
component.
Totally.
But
It is what it is.
Definitely. I'm like, oh, like you can see muscles and cuts in your body, and it's just, and I can do things that I could do.
Give us an example.
Like, I just, like, something as simple as picking something up and moving it.
Right. Yes.
Or not getting winded.
Right.
Walking upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Just little things that I never paid attention to. Walking upstairs and getting winded, and now I'm walking upstairs, and like when you are able to walk up those stairs and you're not like trying to catch your breath, you're like, Right. So those kind of things, mobility. So yeah. Most
of this happened in your 40s, and so I'm underscoring this because one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast and having all these awesome guests on is to show the newcomer, or if you're not a complete newbie to fitness, maybe you're like an on again, off again type person, which there are many of.
Right.
And when you're off, you could be off for 6 months, you could be off for 6 years. And that desire to come back is always there, even if it's kind of dormant. I think a lot of people can use inspiration and hear, oh, okay, she got started when she was almost 40, and she's talking about all these great things that happened all in her 40s, not her late teens, not her 20s, not her 30s, in her 40s, right? Yeah. So ladies, and even guys, take that as some inspiration that I've said it before, your age does not matter. What you do and how you do it is really what matters, right? So this is living proof here that Renee is sharing with us.
Absolutely.
All right, so great stuff. All right, so let's talk about, you're going great, in a groove, a lot of good things happening. Eventually, like you told me a few weeks ago, you had this, is it hairline fracture?
A stress fracture.
Stress fracture of the spine, vertebrae, right? How did that come about, and how long ago was that? Like,
I don't know when exactly it happened. So it
happens over time. But when did you start feeling something's not right here?
I've always, and Patty will tell you this from day one, like my lower back has always been, it's always bothered me.
Right.
Let me just put it that way. So last year, I wanted to step it up. Like, I felt like I hit a plateau.
Yeah.
So I talked to the trainers and said, I'm ready. Like, we got to do more. I want more.
Yeah.
And I started, lifting heavier, just being more aggressive in the gym. And that's when it became intense. And like every step I took, it's like stabbing. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. And it takes an act of God for me to go to the doctor. Right. I just keep pushing through. Yeah. I push through pain. And it was bad enough that I'm like, I better get this checked. And so I went to JOI, and Xray showed I have scoliosis. I'm like, what? And as soon as they pulled up the Xray, I'm like, I can see it. Right. It's not horrible.
Yeah, it's mild.
But
it's still there.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't significant enough that the doctor thought that's what was causing me discomfort. Right. So send you for an MRI. The MRI still couldn't see it clear, but what he thinks he's seeing is a stress fracture in the spine. So doctor's orders, rest. I don't rest well.
Understood.
You can't twist, you can't bend, and you can't lift more than 20 pounds.
Right.
Huh? And you don't know how much you bend and you twist until you're told you can't.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I'm like, the rest thing is what really bothered me.
Yeah.
Because my first question is, I can't work out. And, if you're in fitness, you hear this all the time. And I'll never forget Patty telling me, listen to your body. I don't listen to anything very well. Any person, anyone, anything. And that is, I've learned the most critical piece of advice I got when you're talking about working out.
Right.
You have to honor your body.
That's
you have to give yourself grace.
Yes.
I don't do it well, but I'm learning.
You're learning.
You can still learn it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been rough. And that's when I was in the middle of a move, packing, moving, and I'm told you can't do all these things. Well, I have to power through because I got to get stuff done. But I really have been trying to rest, but that's when the mental impact started happening to me. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. Yeah. It put me in a really bad mental space.
Understood.
So I go back to my doctor and I'm like, listen, sir, we got to talk about this. And he said the same thing. You got to listen to your body. He didn't tell me I couldn't work out, but certain things you can't do. So I have now started back at the gym, mentally good.
Yeah.
And I'm paying attention to my body.
Yeah. Yeah. You're staying within the boundaries right now.
Yeah. I don't like boundaries at the gym, but again, that's the honor piece I talked about. Yeah. And, I take it, the trainers love to make fun of me because they have pink weights at the gym, which is really offensive. They're like 3-pound, 5-pound weights. And I always have issues with using weights that size. And now I have to embrace the pink weights.
Yeah, right.
And so they make fun of me, and it's all in good fun.
Oh, of course.
I love it. And I just have to be happy that I'm there.
Right. Focusing on the positive
and
parts.
Allowing my body to heal.
Right. Do you feel as if you're healing? It's getting better?
Not necessarily.
But how long ago did you go to JOI and docs?
It was November, right? So, but November was...
So 3 months.
Yeah. But November, I didn't follow doctor's orders because life just didn't allow me. I was moving, packing, doing stuff, getting a house rent ready. So December and January, I really focused on behaving. That's how I like to call it. And I did notice some improvement, but I felt like being idle was causing me more pain. Like there wasn't blood flow. There wasn't, I tried physical therapy. I tried Pilates. Nothing.
So they didn't prescribe anything, just rest. Like, okay.
Right. Which, again, I don't do well. And, I don't want to treat pharmaceuticals. I don't want any of that. Understood. So I am doing what I can, following orders as best as I can, listening to my body. If I do something at the gym that I don't feel right doing, I just tell my trainer. They are working with me. So, it's just another lesson of patience for Renee.
Right. Okay. So. When are you supposed to go back to JOI? Is there anything on the calendar?
Not yet. Not yet, but I will be following up in the next couple of weeks. I think he said 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll be going back.
Okay.
I just gotta heal.
Yep. So I'm just thinking out loud here. I've got some really good body weight stuff that you'd probably do and say, oh, okay, like this is really good. I'm happy to share those videos with you. Just remind me.
Oh, of course.
Okay, because I think they'll benefit you a lot. All right. Yeah. Okay, this is really good. So let's go back to before you were ordered to rest. What did your weekly training schedule look like? Like were you doing body parts or is it full body training sessions?
So I was going to the gym 4 days a week. Okay. And looking forward to it.
Right.
Every day.
Understood.
Going 4 days a week, and one day they would focus on upper body, another day lower body, another day full body, another day maybe cardio, which is my least favorite thing in the world.
Understood.
Too. But I know it's necessary. Yeah. So it's a good mix. Yeah. They are targeting, and if you only go 2 days a week, which is all I'm doing right now because I'm trying to behave.
Understood.
Trying, and so one day like this week I did lower body Monday and yesterday I did upper body, right? Okay. And I might bump it up to 3 days to get a full body, right? Because I want to get back.
Yeah, back in the groove that you feel good with.
But still try to behave, right? Because I want, in those 2 months that I was taking a break, I saw a difference in my body.
Right.
And so I know I'm one that I have to keep at it to maintain it.
Yeah.
So,
okay. And when you're on a regular routine, what are you doing the other 3 days a week? Are you doing any like fitness activities, walking, tennis?
would do yoga.
Okay.
So that's really the only other activity. I mean, I'll ride bikes around the beach and stuff, but there's no other activity fitness-wise that I really do. I like to what I call throw weights.
Yeah,
that's
like
what
train.
I like. I like to throw weights. So it's what I like. It's what I enjoy. I know my body sometimes needs that yoga, stretching and stuff like that. So I definitely try to incorporate it when I can.
Yeah, good move.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Patty specifically mentioned you might be looking to compete at some point.
Oh, you gotta love Patty. Again, back to she pushes me out of my comfort zone. So she has pushed me out of my comfort zone. She just this week or last week sent me competition, and I just I see you, Patty. But when I do something, I go all in.
Yeah.
And with my work schedule and with where my body is right now,
timing's not
right. Is it something I would love to do? Absolutely.
Okay. Like
I would love to take a hiatus from work
and just commit. Train. Yeah.
Commit, because mentally, for that, I feel like I would have to mentally devote.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just, who knows?
Right.
Hey,
so
God,
maybe
I would like to do this.
What division would you go into? Bikini, physique?
I mean, honestly, I don't know.
Or category, actually.
I don't know anything about competing.
Okay, all right. So,
I don't know.
Right.
Right?
It would be totally new to you.
What she sends me is bikini stuff.
Right.
I'm not interested in displaying.
Understood. Yeah, you might not want to do it at all. It's
sense,
something to think through.
Right. So I would have to explore it.
Yeah,
but competition, I'm highly competitive. So
right.
That's why I say I would want to devote to it.
Yeah.
Because I'm
if you're going to compete, you want to win.
Absolutely.
As high as
Nobody
you can.
wants to lose.
Right. Okay.
But I would, again, with that, I would want to compete to win.
Right.
But it's more so of just focusing on accomplishing something.
Right.
For me,
it's a personal victory, no matter where you place, but also you want to do your best in the competition against others as well.
Absolutely.
Understood. Yeah. Good way to approach it. All right. Yes. So that part of the story is to be continued.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Cool. All right. So in general, how would you describe your nutritional framework? Like what's your general nutrition approach? What does it look like?
Interesting that you asked that. So,
actually, let's take a pause here. I know the women viewing, they're like, I wonder how tall she is. I wonder what she weighs.
Oh.
What's height and weight right now?
You're not supposed to ask women that.
This is a MIDLIFE Muscle Podcast.
Yes. I don't care. I don't know why they say you can't ask women that. I embrace.
That's in regular life.
I know. But I embrace what I am.
Right. We should.
I'm, like I said, 48. I'm 5'7", and in last weigh-in, 136.
Nice.
And my highest I was, I think, 146.
Okay.
And again, that's the loss of muscle.
Okay. 146 when you were in like a serious training groove. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll get you back there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. So thank you for that. So into the nutrition framework overview.
So part of my journey, I learned that I have Hashimoto's, right? So I get annual blood work done.
Right.
So I found out I have Hashimoto's. So how do you treat that naturally? Because you don't want it to. So I had half my thyroid taken out.
How long ago?
The doctors always ask you when all your surgeries.
Like 5
and when
years
were they?
ago, 15?
No, it was probably for around 15 years ago. So I had nodules. They thought I had cancer because the biopsy came back inconclusive. Had to have surgery. They took half of it out. So I have my thyroid tested every year. Levels are still good. So how do you keep your thyroid levels maintained when you have Hashimoto's? Because it will burn out so grain-free, gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. Like when they're telling me this, I'm like, what am I going to eat?
Right. What are you going to eat?
What am I going to eat?
That's what most people do.
I'm on this health journey. So I research and, I love to get in the kitchen. So I meal prep every Sunday, turn on some good music, meal prep.
And when you're in that situation, you realize, there's a lot of things I can still eat. Yeah.
There's a lot and good.
Right.
People
new things. You find new things.
Oh,
you
new
discover
things. I
different
eat
things.
People are like, what is that?
Right.
And then my kids, they're used to my traditional cooking and you know, they come over, my son especially, he's like, what is this? And then he eats it. He's like, this is, you know, whatever lingo the kids use these days. I'm like, what does that mean? Is that good? Okay.
Yeah.
But so the nutrition, I do a lot of anti-inflammatories in my diet just because of things that are going on. And I mean, Hashimoto's is an, you know, oh, what is it called? Oh my gosh, the word just escaped me. But it's inflammation. So I want to calm everything. So I cook with turmeric a lot.
Okay.
But natural ingredients, organic, experimenting.
Mostly organic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Everything I can. Protein. Yeah. Definitely. I eat a lot of chicken. And
what other protein sources besides chicken?
Fish and chicken are my go-tos, but like hemp seeds on salads and stuff like that. So I just get creative. So it's another outlet for me, cooking.
So you're into the various herbs, spices, right?
Yeah.
Which are all good for us. We talked about this on the last one, and I bring it up as often as possible because a lot of people don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be on a diet. Well, you're not supposed to be on a diet. It's a way of life. Yeah. And when you know how to cook what we call fitness gourmet, it's like, I wish I learned this, you know, years ago. A lot of people are fooled by like our societal, cultural influences of how they're supposed to eat and all the marketing and all the secretly addictive ingredients that are in the mass market foods, the highly processed foods.
Yep.
Once you break away from that and then learn how the simple basics, even alone, can like radically change your approach to your personal nutrition, how you cook, how you food shop, of course, to have all those things in the house. And then realize, man, this is easier than I thought. And I enjoy it. My body loves it. I'm getting the improvements that I'm always complaining about that I can't get. Now they're happening, right? You feel good. You sleep better. Your skin looks better. Like the list goes on and on. So you're doing all that stuff, all right? So you've been doing that a bit longer than your fitness training because of the Hashimoto's and the partial thyroid removal, right?
Well, the Hashimoto's I found out in this 9 years of working out.
All
so the thyroid was, you know, I just got the levels checked every year, but there was blood work that, you know, I get it done every year, full panel, and because I'm 48, and
smart,
it came up on one of the results. And, you know, I'm like, well, what is that? And, you know, and then I go into research and that's how I, you know, and the doctor, like, again, how do I deal with this naturally? Right. And then on my own research, because I don't take a lot of things.
Understood.
Doctors just tell me.
We want to go look for ourselves.
I want to gain my own knowledge.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, and it wasn't easy at first, but there are so many alternatives out there now that you can find.
Yes. I mean, the stores are full of them. Like, absolutely. You just have to go look. And even online too. Like, there's so many things you buy online. So let's talk about carbohydrates. You covered some of your proteins. What type of carbohydrates can a person like you consume?
So I did a lot of sweet potatoes. I can't do rice, you know, like I mentioned, no grains. I ate rice like every day, but so potatoes, and I do glass sweet potato noodles.
Okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, what is this? I love them. So.
And where do you get those?
Amazon.
Right. And so people listening, you said glass sweet potato noodles, right?
Yeah. Glass sweet potato noodles. They're great. Yeah. And they don't have a sweet flavor. Like, you know, you eat a sweet potato, it's sweet. They take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking.
Yeah. So you can season them. You could put like different cool sauces in there.
I do a lot of sauces, like especially turmeric based.
Right.
So I use glass noodles now instead of rice. So there's a lot of different substitutions.
There's so many people like, if they tasted a meal like this, they'd be like, I'll eat like this every night. And then if you're doing that, you just solved your quote unquote diet problem. Like you're eating the things your body and brain need and want and thrive on.
Yes.
And you're not supposed to be dieting.
No, I don't diet. I eat like a man is what I say.
Nice. Good stuff. All right. What other carbs are a regular thing for you? Do you eat Ezekiel bread or any kind of alternative grain breads?
Bread is hard. To find a grain-free, gluten-free bread, I'm still searching.
That's edible. Like there are a bunch out there that
they're I have tried them, and you're right. So bread is hard.
Right.
Bread's hard, and I enjoy bread.
Understood.
I don't know who doesn't enjoy bread, but I really enjoy it. So I, like pizzas, I don't do cheese. Like I'm not supposed to do dairy. But like cauliflower crust. So my carbs, I eat a lot of those glass noodles, sweet potatoes and potatoes. Those are and then of course vegetables, you get some carbs from vegetables. So.
What are your favorite veggies?
I mean, I cook with bok choy a lot.
Oh yeah, good one.
I didn't know what bok choy was.
Yum.
And then I tried it and I eat it a lot. So spinach, a lot of vegetables are hard for me digestively, but like I'll cook with carrots, cabbage. Cabbage is great.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love cabbage.
If you cook that right, it's like you crave it.
I love it.
These things if you cook them right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's not many the only vegetable I will not eat is green beans. It's everybody's favorite.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
understood.
Yeah.
Where do you do your food shopping?
I mean, I go to Publix a lot, but I go to Native Son a lot. Right. And, I love a good farmer's market.
Yes. You go to the one in Atlantic Beach?
I have gone to that one, Riverside. They used to have, I don't know if they have still, but I don't go down there too often, but they used to have a great farmer's market down there.
I think it's still going. I haven't been there, but it's like, it is a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I feel ride.
Like it's a longer drive, but I feel like they replaced it with the arts market.
Yeah, but I still think they changed the name, but I still think there's a lot of food vendors there.
You're right, there are now that I think about it. But yeah, no, the Atlantic Beach one, but for time purposes, Native Son is usually where
it's a good place.
Or Publix.
Right.
Like
they got plenty of good things there. They do.
Yeah.
Good stuff here. Okay. So you do most of your food prep on Sundays?
Sundays, yeah.
Right. And that's
Saturday or Sunday, depending on if I have plans.
Right.
But
so you make a bunch of meals for the week, basically.
I do. I make all my meals for the week.
All in containers, good to go.
Yes. Well, yeah. And it's my lunch and my dinner. Breakfast is pretty routine for me.
What's a typical breakfast for you?
Eggs, hard-boiled eggs, avocado, tomatoes, and I do turkey bacon. I like some bacon.
Yeah.
Protein. And right now I did find a gluten-free bread that I'm trying, but it does have grains because, again, I like bread.
Yeah.
But just because I found I needed more substance.
Yeah, and we do need some carbs to burn energy, especially when you're training.
Yes.
We need the glycogen stores in the muscle, period.
Yeah.
Like, so that's important. Are you doing okay with this bread that has a little gluten in it?
Yes. I mean, I don't really feel side effects, right, from eating the grains, the gluten, those things. But I know long term, it's going to do damage for the Hashimoto's. It's going to burn out my thyroid. So I try to, I'm not perfect. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am.
Yeah, understood.
I veer outside, but for the most part, I try to stick within those boundaries of what I'm supposed to be doing for my body.
You're human. We're human.
Exactly.
You gotta have some leeway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it grace.
Understood. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you drink at all? Any wine?
No.
Craft beer? Nothing?
No. I've never been a big drinker. When I did drink, it would be Tito's vodka, but I've never enjoyed it.
Understood.
I don't enjoy how I feel afterwards.
Right.
So don't do what you doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So no, I don't drink anymore.
Okay. Supplements, without naming any name brands, do you take any supplements, and which ones? No name brands though.
No, I try to get everything through my food, right? Like I said, I cook with turmeric a lot, so I try to get nutrients that way. I used to do protein shakes, but again, there's so many brands and ingredients and things that are not that I'm supposed to be consuming. So I stick to my natural food sources. So I don't do any supplements.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so this is a question I get a lot. By the way, speaking of supplements, I'm not going to go into this. We're going to do a whole podcast episode on this, but people asked me in the first episode I recorded, because I had it here because I didn't take it in the morning. People said, what's that? What's your supplement that you got by the chair? So I said, I'm just going to leave it here on all episodes. Just go to getlivingstrength.com if you want to learn more about it. Getlivingstrength.com if you want to learn more about it. A lot of people ask whether it's if they're a private remote coaching client, a friend in person, somebody new, if they're one of my online membership clients following the videos. One of the questions they ask is, how do you stay so committed and disciplined? Like it's I call it like the more ambiguous, intangible side of like, what do you do to be in shape and healthy and fit and strong? There's this mindset part, right? So I'd love to ask you, and I will, how would you describe to somebody who's trying to find that level of internal motivation? How do you stay committed, disciplined, to have that continuous drive to like, I want to keep doing this?
Yeah. Well, it is all mindset. It's mindset. And when I just personally, when I commit to something, I'm committed to something, and I want the results. So when you want something, you have to work for it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not a complex answer for me.
Right. I get it.
If I want it,
it's simple.
I got to do it. Yeah. It's like, very simple, but I know for some people that discipline is hard. Right. And here's the thing. If I signed up at I don't know what you want to call it, a regular gym, right? Where you just walk in and you do your thing. Right. I know myself. I know that I would be like, I don't feel like doing that today. Or I'd get there and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing today. Like, I would have to plan. And with my life, I know that's not going to work for me.
Right.
So
you want that taken care of already.
I want everything.
So you're looking at the thing that like, okay, that's where I need help to make sure that I stay on track. And if that's there, I'll bring it. I'll bring myself, and I will.
Oh, absolutely.
Execute.
Like when I sign up at my gym, if I don't show up, they're charging me for that session, as they should. It's a business.
Sure.
So I don't want to waste my money. I don't like wasting money. So it keeps me motivated.
And you're following through on your own word and the thing you promised yourself. I want to do this. I want to reach these goals.
It's a desire of mine. I like the results. Yeah. Therefore, when you like something, you continue to do it. And you form a habit. It's a habit now. And I look forward to it. It's a passion. Yeah. It wasn't in the beginning. I hated it, like I said.
So it's a way of life for you now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the more you do it, the more habits aren't created overnight.
Right.
So the more you do it.
Mental reprogramming.
Oh, totally.
I think a lot of people don't see it that way, who are, again, like, I take for granted that I was born into this realm thanks to my father. Right. It was very natural to me in the 70s to see this as like, this is a thing a lot of people should be doing. I didn't know that it was only a small percentage back then, but as I got older and became more cognizant of how big the percentage of the population is who do not do any of this stuff, it made me realize, wow, I can see how a lot of people can struggle with, number one, finding an entry point to get started on all this. And then number two, finding the right guidance and the right answers, because there's a sea of garbage out there in this realm.
Oh, absolutely. You got to find
bad
the right
places you could like find yourself.
Yeah.
So I get that it could be a big turnoff for a lot of people, to prevent them from even creating that internal drive and motivation and commitment. The key is to find your right path, the right help, the right guidance, right? But then understand at the end of the day, it's you who has to show up in the moment to execute, to do the sessions, to do the cooking.
Absolutely.
To choose this meal versus that meal, and to make it not just, oh, here's this thing I have to do. No, I'm embracing this new way of life that gets me to the goals I said I have for myself that I want to achieve. Right? You've done that in the last 10 years. That's what you've gone through. It sounds like.
Absolutely.
Right?
And finding the right people.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yes. There's a lot of wrong people out there.
There's a big factor.
We've seen them both.
Right.
I know we've witnessed them out there, and we've had the blessing to come across some of the very, very good people. Patty being one of them. I'm sure the people at Level Up are really good.
Yes.
I thank God every day for giving me the gifts that I've been given to be able to help people in this realm as well. And I don't take those for granted. Every person that comes into my life for help to me is a gift, because it allows me to realize and put the gifts out there and see that effect on people. And I always pray that there's some kind of ripple effect where, let's say a client is able to buy my programs, the follow-along videos, or hire me as a private coach. I know they've got family members, they've got friends, they've got coworkers who can see that with their own eyes, see the transformation in front of them, and say, you know what, I think I could do it too. And then, they'll find their own path. Like, where can I find his online stuff? Or maybe there's another, equal female that I could follow, or I'm going to go get a local trainer to help me get me started.
Yep.
I'll listen to some of the podcasts and kind of get an idea of what I should ask for, or, what specialty I should go seek out first. Because there's tons of them out there.
Yeah.
So really, and that's happened a lot. I mean, over the years, it's happened a lot. And it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because people can hear, see, get the vibe, and realize, okay, like there's hope for me now, right? Even at this stage of my life, there's still answers out there, and I haven't given up. That's why I'm listening and watching this. Now, tomorrow I'm going to take action, or maybe tonight you're going to take action. Like, there's no reason to wait, because now is now. Right?
Yeah. So I didn't give it much time after I thought, what am I going to do with my time? And I decided this is what I want to do. I did it right away.
Right.
And I think the most important thing, like I said earlier, is knowing yourself and knowing what works for you. Because if you try to do things that don't work for you personally, it's
I mean, how many
work.
times have we heard, my neighbor went to CrossFit, or my in-law went to CrossFit, and they ripped their shoulder apart, or their neck got
horror stories.
Absolutely. Or they shredded their knee. I've had to rehab plenty of clients over the years who did some kind of hardcore stuff like that, got torn up, and they had to find their way back. But they're like, you know what? I'm going to take a slightly different path. I'm going to take a gentler path to my goals.
That's me now.
Right? For now. And I know you're still going to be smart about when you ramp things up.
Yeah. And that was all on me.
Right.
Because I am a very stubborn person. And like I said, competitive. I'm not in the gym competing with anybody else. It's me.
Yeah.
I'm competing with me.
You want to be your personal best.
Pushing
That's
myself.
the competition.
And I push through pain. I ignore things. I'm like, I can do it. And that's where, again, I go back to, you have to listen to your body.
Right.
It was screaming at me, and I was like, hush, I got this. No.
That's good. It's good to learn now, because it'll set you up for better things later.
Absolutely.
And it puts you more in tune with yourself too.
Yes, it was a
on
hard
deeper
lesson,
levels,
but a good lesson.
Right. So remember that. So
Humility.
that's an intangible right there. You want to make note of. All right. Great answer right there. Thank you. All right. So before we get to the nominate, because we've got some good, at least one, maybe two or three future guest nominations from Renee here. And then you got at least one good question for me, right? We're going to turn the tables, and you're going to throw a big question at me, right? You thought that through?
No, but I'll
all right, start thinking about it.
No, but I can come up with the question.
Okay, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to only be like fitness training or nutrition, mindset. It could be anything. Okay. It can even, I had a few people, or at least one, ask me a good question about my faith and where God, God's coming into the mix on all this and stuff. So that was fun to share that. Okay, so before we get to that, I want to ask you, and you may have shared it in this in what we covered already, but did you have any other kind of big setback since you started your fitness journey, where you either got thrown off and had to find your way back, or you actually leaned more into the fitness and nutrition to help you get through that setback?
Yeah, I think it's not one major thing, but I think when I'm struggling in any capacity with anything, I lean into it more because it's an outlet for me.
It becomes your therapy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's totally therapy. And it, like I said, the happy hit.
Yes.
It's an outlet. It
Helps
brings
you cope.
me joy. Yes. It brings me clarity. So it has turned out to be, I didn't know this that day I made the call to Patty, but it has turned out to be a huge, huge blessing in my life, for so many different reasons.
Understood.
So I can't be without it.
Right. So in the setbacks or derailments you've had, you actually leaned into your fitness, nutrition, this healthy lifestyle to help you get through.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
where people may lean into like alcohol or whatever.
Or eating dysfunctionally, emotional eating.
I lean into what brings me joy.
Right.
And that just happens to be fitness. Yeah. Or I lean into time with people that are my people.
Right.
Right. I go to, when I'm experiencing anything challenging, hard, whatever, I lean into those things that are going to bring me peace, comfort, happiness.
The things you already know are good in your life. You go get more of that.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Instead of turning away.
Fitness is one of those.
Oh, understood. Fitness done right is preventive medicine, I guess we'll say.
I had no idea it could bring so much joy.
Oh, people have no idea.
I had no clue.
You're a perfect example.
No.
You didn't know.
I had
now
no idea.
You know.
I know.
Right. So we're highlighting this because I know we're going to get a lot of people tuning in, whether you're watching us once it's published or a week later, a year later, 5 years later. You don't know what you don't know, but you got to get going. You're going to discover things about yourself and your life and things you've been missing out on many levels, not just the physical level, but spiritual, mental, emotional, psychological. Your medical profile is going to improve. Like, it's endless, but you got to go discover your own version of that, because that's where all the beauty is and the gifts that you're going to discover. And there are plenty of options for you where you do not have to go beast mode. You do not have to crush it and kill it. You could take a very gentle, safe, sustainable path. I've got plenty of free materials I give away. As a matter of fact, the best place to get started with that is just go to the shortcut link, midlifemusclenews.com. Not midlifemusclepodcast.com, midlifemusclenews.com. That'll give you my free newsletter, and I share all kinds of different things in there. You can request any freebies I got that can get you started on the right path. So write that down, midlifemusclenews.com, and reach out, and I will personally send you the links to get started on the gentle path. All right. Great answer, by the way. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you ready to throw some nominations our way for future guests on the on the podcast?
I mean, I have nominated my cousin.
What's her name?
Dana Lynn.
Okay.
She has been a godsend when it comes to body work, because it's not just about the fitness, right? It's about taking care of your body, rehabbing your body. You know, you have to care for it like a car.
Yes.
You have to take your car in maintenance. Yes. You have to maintenance your body. And, you know, she is so skilled at what she does, which is so many different varieties of body work. So I think she would be a great person to speak on how do you take care of your person, your machine.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking out loud. Is Dana Lynn the daughter of the aunt you moved here to? No, is it different cousin?
Our mothers are sisters. So so she's
nice. Yeah. All right. And so Dana's one nominee.
Yes.
Number two.
So there are a couple women at my gym that I think would be great candidates to share their story.
Okay.
Two different women, you know, one, like I was sharing with you, when I watch her work out, I'm like, whoa.
What's her first name?
Lauren.
Lauren.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm going to talk to her about that, because
do you know that her age, give or take a little bit?
I don't, but she's definitely over 30.
Okay. What's Dana Lynn's age?
Oh, she's my age. She's 48.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. So she's had injuries working out too, Lauren. But she's like mind blown when I see her work out. Mm-hmm. She's just impeccable shape. Mm-hmm. I can almost see her mental status when she's working out. Like nothing's going to stop her. And I respect it and I appreciate it. So
nice.
Yeah. And then the other person, Orla, I work out with her, and she's just I can see.
She sounds familiar. Does Patty know her?
Patty knows everybody.
Right, true.
Patty, who doesn't Patty know?
I mean, it's a rare name, but I think I've heard Orla before.
Yeah. She's just
and she trains at the same gym.
She does.
Right.
She does. And I don't necessarily make friendships easily, but I I sense from her a very good, genuine energy.
Understood.
And she's very sweet. And just watching her journey from when she started to, because I've been there so long, I've seen.
So you've seen some kind of transformation in her.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And what's, you know, her age range, give or take?
She's older than 30.
Over 30.
Yeah.
Maybe mid-30s, 40. All right. We know. Over 30,
I'm not good at guessing ages.
Understood. All right. We'll play it safe here. Over 30.
Yeah, she's over 30.
And all right, so we got Dana, Lynn, we got Lauren and Orla, who will all three possibly be future guests on here.
Yes.
Awesome.
I think they'd all be excited about the opportunity.
Cool. I look forward to you connecting me with them. If you want to talk to them first, and then
I have to talk to Lauren and
make
Orla,
the connection.
Definitely, I've already told Dana about it.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. All right. Have you thought of a question for me?
I like to understand people. So what drives you for this midlife muscle or fitness?
Right.
Like you said, you got you were kind of born into this, which I was not. But
it's I get it.
What's your passion?
It's multifaceted. Like, so growing up, because I was around my dad, and then he trained a lot at home, kind of like I do sometimes. I'm training less at home right now, but certain days I do have to train at home because of the schedule. And back in the 70s, he was able to bring me to the gym when he did train there on the weekends. Right? There weren't really hard rules back then. And I got to see all these people, and I was like, man, they look awesome. Like, they don't look like regular people. Right. And it wasn't, the difference was obvious to me. Like, to me, they looked like superheroes, even though they weren't like massively huge and like kind of like odd looking. They were very aesthetically pleasing to the eye in the 70s and 80s. Even the guys who were on a little bit of pharmaceutical help, they weren't like nasty looking. Right. They were like, man, it's pleasing to look at. It's just a beautiful representation of the physique. Even the women too, like they were in great shape. You could see that was obvious, but their attitudes, their energy, their positivity, their strength, their vigor for life. I saw that as a kid. I'm like, that's how I want to be. I don't want to be like all these other people who like have these big guts. They're always complaining. They're slow. They can't lift something. I don't want to be like that. I want to put in the work. I want to be like these people. And so that was the initial impetus that like set me on the path. Now, through life, I've had many ups and downs. Like I've been in some dark times. Amen. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Dark, painful, like, and my eating disorders came out in full effect. Like I've had serious food issues. Even flirted with some drinking issues over the past bunch of years during these dark times. And I'm like, all right. And they were all blessings because it allowed me to be in the shoes of the ideal clients who I can help. Because I've been through it. I came out of it and taken that experience, and then knowing exactly how somebody else feels who's looking to come out of their dark place gave me a lot of different tools to work with. So going through all that and then seeing how you can transform somebody's inner being and then the outside appearance as well. Like I realized this is a gift from God. Like God has gifted me with these special skills and special way of communicating and understanding people and understanding myself, that I need to go put those gifts into the world to impact people's lives and help them. Right. And so like, I'm like, good, like I get to do this. Right. So that kind of fueled more of my adult career. When I got into my 30s, toward 40s, realizing that I've been given this gift to go make the world a better place through individuals, made me just put more energy into it, really work on developing not just the like the training part of it and the nutrition approach and all that, but more the mindset and the communication part of it. Because there are people that are just not good communicators. And I realized that's a really powerful way to make this all that much even more effective. Because if you can communicate with people, especially very intelligent people, you've got a special way into their heart and their mind where you can really guide them and impact them, right? So I've leaned into that, and taking the step to do this is actually a second podcast. I had another one going before this, which I still occasionally do. It's called the Fitness Truth Podcast. So if you want to see all the past episodes of the Fitness Truth Podcast, just go Google it, the Fitness Truth Podcast. You'll find all the episodes up until maybe a few months ago. But this is like a natural extension. It's like we got all this like free technology available to us. YouTube is free to use. Apple Podcasts is free to put a podcast up. Spotify is free to use. You just have to go produce the stuff and put it out there. So I'm thinking, I really want to reach a wider and wider audience. And so what effort can I take to do that, right? So when this stuff was all coming to fruition, all the online stuff and tools, I'm not very technologically inclined, so it was a challenge early on. But as the years progressed, I just did what was made easy by the technology companies, like user friendly. Okay, that's count me in there, right? But this specific podcast, Midlife Muscle Podcast, was actually more God's doing. And I told the story on, I think it was episode number 1. When I interviewed Ashley, she asked, how did you come up with this specifically, and what made you take this action? And I told the story. It was basically me. I was training at home before I ended up in the gym Jacks to train. Right. And I had been in many gyms over the years. I've had my own studios. But I didn't have the idea or the intention to start an in-person interview podcast, video style to audio afterward. But a friend of mine asked me, you might know Darren. Darren was one of Patty's clients. Darren.
Yeah, I know Darren.
All right. So,
I mean, I don't personally know him, but I know of him.
You know of him. All right. So he's like, Joey, I need your help, because he's been into fitness his whole life. He just never had like a structured path where he felt his energy was all going toward the outcomes he wanted. So he's like, can you help me? Like, I was like, I can definitely help you, but we just got to train together for 2 months. Like, you and I are going to train together. Right. And that will be my best way to help you. So he was going there. He got me membership. We trained for 2 months. I had no intention of staying there. But what happened was, by the end of the 2 months, again, this is all God's work. Like, when Darren asked me, can you help me? That was God talking. Right. And I was like, yes, I'll help you. And then every step of the way after that was all God, like throwing these seeds in front of me, and just me paying attention, like, and not answering from like my head, but like just listening to my heart and kind of seeing, okay, I'm seeing it. I get it. So every step through the Gym Jacks, meeting different people, having certain conversations, led to this becoming a vision and a reality. And I just knew, okay, I have to do this. And since starting it, so many cool things have happened. People are like, I think everybody who's been in that chair has never been on a podcast, let alone a video podcast.
Oh yeah, that's
so
my
far.
First time.
So far, right? You haven't.
No.
Right. So there are many, many blessings coming out of this. And so for me, doing this, knowing God set the light in front of me and just follow the steps where the light is shining, I know I'm reaching a lot more people in ways that I can't even imagine so far. But I know that's just going to expand as time progresses. More people come on here. The stories get shared. People share the stories via social media with their family, friends, coworkers. And so this, I know, is a way for me to positively impact more people with simple tools that are available to us, and with excellent people like you who have a great story to share and a lot of lessons that need to be heard by other people, so that they can use that to fuel their own motivation, their own discipline, their own commitment. And, you know, taking the solid hour to do this is like, you know, a lot of people say, well, I don't have an extra hour. For me, it's like, I've got the hours because I get to do this. Like, God has enabled me to be able to do this. It's not work. This is like me sharing more of what God gifted me with, right? And so it's a blessing to be able to do, knowing that people are going to get helped by this. So again, a lot of good feedback so far. A lot of good feedback is coming in from various people. Love listening to these. I love, wondering who's this next person going to be on there. I can't wait to hear their story. And a lot of people don't realize I'm just a regular person. What story do I have to share? No, we're all regular people. Everybody's regular people. And we all got awesome stories to share to help our fellow human beings.
Absolutely.
So that's the answer. Great question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just always interested.
So. Total surprise. Every one of these has been a really neat surprise because there's always things that come out in the conversation. Mm-hmm. There's always a great question. We didn't expect to bring a great answer. Mm-hmm. And so I thank you for being here, Renee.
Thank you. I'm happy to do it. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely. So we're going to check in with your nominees. That's it for this episode. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know where the comment section is. If you're listening to this on the Substack platform or Spotify, there's probably going to be a comment section there as well. We'd love to hear from you. All the guests love to hear positive feedback and encouragement and some thanks and gratitude. So please share it. And we want to hear from you. We want to know you appreciate us doing these. And that's going to inspire us to do a lot more of them. So until the next episode, peace and much love to you. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Good work.